Less than 2 weeks until the first ever college football playoff is unveiled. The poll, that is, and it comes on October 28th. Once that day comes around, all committee members will be off limits except Chairman Jeff Long. But since we're not there just yet, happy to have West Virginia Athletics Director Oliver Luck stopping by to share his experience thus far. Oliver, how overwhelming has the process been relative to your expectations?
You know, I don't think it's been overwhelming in terms of what I expected. I expected to have a large volume of football to watch, and that's exactly what's happened. And I think that's the same reaction that most of the members, if not all the members, would have. We knew there was going to be a lot of work going in, and it's proven to be the case. Of course, I've always watched a lot of college football because I've been a huge college football fan, over the years. So I'm certainly watching more. I'm watching it a little bit differently, and something I've never done before, I'm taking a lot of notes.
You mentioned that you're watching games differently now than you formerly did. What does that look like? How do you mean?
Historically, as a former quarterback, I'd probably watch games like most fans would. You'd follow the ball, and I find myself now not following the ball as much, but really watching the front seven on both sides of the ball play, because and really take notes about that, because I believe that football is still won in the trenches.
Oliver, so much has been made about the choice to choose what's being categorized as the best four teams for the playoff. Could you offer me three elements that take priority in your mind as this process is going to start taking place?
There are a number of factors that each member will consider. I'm a believer, I know, as is Barry Alvarez, in the relative scoring difference. I think that's an important statistic that through the course of a season, once there's enough volume of work, really is a good indicator. As an old quarterback, I'm always obviously focused on turnover and turnover ratios, because that often wins games. Tom Osborne has clearly stated to the committee that he's really going to focus on the kicking game.
Well, I'm just glad to hear that Coach Osborne's put himself in charge of worrying about special teams. When you think about how wide a leadership net that was cast in creating this group, you've got athletics, Congress, the military, the media, obviously as Secretary of State. What's the process been like in those two mock drafts that you had, melding all of these personalities and opinions into one cohesive decision-making unit?
I think it's a fair-minded group. I do think people will check whatever biases they may have at the door before they walk in, and I think it's just going to be a dialogue that goes back and forth, much like happens over the kitchen table or over a pool table in a bar room somewhere when folks are talking about something. And I think we'll eventually get to a point where we'll feel very confident and in our unanimity about number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond.
Who's the one person who's been more vocal than maybe you didn't expect?
There have been a couple of folks that I think have really added some real value. Mike Tranghese is one of my favorites because Mike's not a football guy, even though he oversaw a conference that had pretty good football, including the Mountaineers when we were in the Big East. But Mike's got that sort of Northeastern bluntness to him, and he's been great because he'll call out the elephant in the room sometimes.
West Virginia Athletics Director Oliver Luck, greatly appreciate your insight. Look forward to seeing the very first college football playoff poll unveiled on October 28th.
Thank you, Bonnie.